report commenced its work in January 23 and completed its report in May 24. It has taken this long for the government under pressure to put it on the clár oibre agus díspóireacht de bheith hagan faoin Tuarascáil tábhachtach sin. That committee had 14 members. It's important what they went through. 14 members, 5 subcommittees, 6 working groups, 200 meetings and 83 recommendations. And I don't think I could disagree with any of them. It had a public consultation of 897 responses to tell us what we knew on the opposition, that there is a serious housing crisis. And they didn't put a tooth in it. And firstly, many things jump out at me, and I've read the whole report. Ireland has the highest level, one of the highest of public expenditure, yet one of the poorest outcomes. And the other interesting things they did, besides their 87 recommendations, was to tell us the negative impacts of a housing crisis on the overall quality of life in Ireland. 74% of the respondents indicated that it negatively affected their quality of life, which we all know, but it's put down here in black and white for the government. Account must be taken in housing policy, very important, of the full and economic and social costs associated with not meeting Ireland's housing requirements. It talks about the need for data, it talks about the need for a range of housing types, and it talks about the need to address the deficit. It recognises the complete failure of this government and previous governments, all governments up to now, their policy, and they said we need a radical reset and we need a policy change. And ye have waited till today to put it on an afternoon's discussion, and I haven't heard if you're going to have a policy change and recognise that the housing crisis is a direct consequence of policy, not the other way around. And I have the task force in Galway, which is sitting since 2018. There's a new chairperson, and he records his frustration. And Deputy Minister McDonald, you remember the task force, and now we have them here, and he records his utter frustration at the failure to deal with resourcing issues and other issues, amongst many other things, failure to meet targets and so on, notwithstanding their best efforts. This is a task force that was set up in because of the crisis, and yet it's trundling on, and all that's changed is change of chairperson and a change of personnel. No end report to tell us the analysis, although it's beginning now to do that and look at it. And so we look at this and we say, what's happened here in relation to housing? How is homeless capacity in Galway at full? There's no place for homeless people to go. This report tells us that the homeless figures are not the total figures. Simon Community, writing to us all today, tells us the figures as of the end of December. 14,864 persons, including 4,500 children, are living in an emergency accommodation. And listen to the percentage, a nearly 300% increase in 10 years, directly consequent on your policies, and you refuse to change it. And I've repeatedly said what you've done is a jigsaw of pieces with no overall vision, no recognition that a house is a home. The report, their separate report, tells us that we need to enshrine the right to housing in the Constitution. You've conveniently ignored that. I would hope today is a start to recognise that the policies that you have followed has directly created a housing crisis, turned a home into a commodity, and left people with no security of tenure. And like this every day, God, what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm facing tomorrow, when I go into my office, more notices to quit, and people appealing to all TDs in relation to their notice to quit. I've 6 seconds left, and I would ask that this go down for further debate. I know it's continuing into next week, but we need a debate, and will the recommendations be implemented?